What's going on, y'all? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Let's go ahead and jump right into this, all right? First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to the whole Lions Den basketball community as well as the Lions Den boxing community too as well. In this case, we going ahead and we unpacking basketball, all right? Listen, here goes Stephen A. Smith capping again about LeBron going to New York and it automatically turning into a championship. You full of shit, man. That's not going to happen, okay? And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You know how Stephen A. Smith is always talking about a disaster waiting to happen with the Cowboys? Well, that's what's going to happen if LeBron goes to the New York Knicks, okay? First and foremost, you don't want to mess up anything that they got going on right now, okay? Because I'm actually happy that the Knicks are actually in a great place right now, especially with the emergence of Jalen Brunson, okay, who I've always have raved about ever since he was in Dallas. Really, ever since he was at Villanova, because people got to realize that he was a part of those championships over there, okay? But that's neither here nor there. That's college. Now we're talking about the NBA. And on top of that, he was, he made the All-Star team for the first time, which I felt like, he should have been starting. But, hey, that's just my opinion, okay? And on top of that, Julius Randle is having a very great year because he was voted into the All-Star reserves this year. Unfortunately, he won't be able to play because he's hurt, but nevertheless he did get that vote, and that shows what type of production he's been doing this year, okay? This is what's going to happen if LeBron goes to New York, okay? What's going to increase is the media attention. What's going to increase is the circus and the drama, okay, because it's already enough drama in New York, okay, and who has more media attention than New York and LA, something that he's already used to. And on top of that, you're going to bring all the buffoons there, all the fanatics of LeBron there, and just being all-in-one player instead of actually appreciating the game. They're going to be casuals like always, okay? And if you're offended by this, hey, I really don't give a fuck. It's really the truth of the matter, okay? On top of that, he's going to go there. He's going to disrupt the continuity and the chemistry that's already built there. That's a young team. They're gelling right now, especially with the addition of OG there, who has made that team surge to a 103 defensive rating, which is at the top of the league. Okay, last time that I checked, it may have changed, but that was the last time that I checked. And on top of that, you're talking about a young team that's blossoming. On top of that, Coach Tom Thibodeau, a lot of people don't understand how tough-nosed this guy is. He's not going to put up with that shit, okay? He's definitely not going to put up with that shit. And I know LeBron has the power and all this other stuff or whatever, but his cachet is running out. You see what's happening in LA, okay? His plan had backfired on him, okay? We're talking about a coach in Darvin Ham who was able to lead that team to as far as the Western Conference Final. And also, you got to keep the same energy, because weren't you just popping champagne, and you and everybody else, and on top of that, y'all were raving like, y'all had just won a world title and everything, okay? What happened to that type of energy and stuff, okay? Well, that's the same thing that could possibly happen when he goes to New York. Everything will go good. It'll go good for a couple weeks, and then the minute he doesn't get what he wants, then he's ready to send the coach fucking out of there. Is that truly what you want, Stephen A? Because then you're going to come back on your podcast, you're going to come back on First Take, and you're going to come back saying all this bullshit and negativity about the Knicks when that shit starts to decline. Okay, so I don't want to hear that shit talking about, oh yeah, it's going to equate to championship. Just because a certain player goes to a franchise, it doesn't automatically mean that they're going to win a fucking championship, dog. What part of that you can't get through your head? All right? Now look, man, I've calmed down a lot, you know what I'm saying? I tried to stop being, you know what I'm saying, vulgar and all that bullshit. But sometimes, man, you just got to be yourself as this motherfucker for real. Okay? And I'm here to tell you, man, that shit is not happening. Okay? And I'm talking about in terms of him winning the championship. You could go to New York. You could go to Cleveland. You could go to Miami. You could go Washington, Memphis, anywhere. Okay? Listen. The only thing that's going to happen is like what you said with the Cowboys, right? Like you always rave about and like you always talk about losing, right? It's going to be a disaster waiting to happen. And that's what's going to happen to your franchise, who you love, who you at one point was sitting there damn near about to have an aneurysm and a heart attack over because they weren't doing good. Now you want to jump on New York on the bandwagon and stuff. I know you're from New York and all that other bullshit, but now you want to start giving these guys their props. Nah, keep that same energy, you know, and tell them what you really feel about them. Because now that they're winning, now that Jalen Brunson has emerged and is starting to show his superstar presence on the court, being an all-star for the first time, as well as Julius Randle being an all-star for the first time, as well as OG being added to the roster to help their defense surge. And on top of that, Coach Tom Thibodeau doing an excellent job, regardless of how tough-nosed he may have been in the past and all this reputation about him running his players through the ground. Look, you think that LeBron is going to help anything? No, the only thing that's going to happen is he's going to bring a circus. The media attention is going to increase. That includes you. And on top of that, it's going to be a whole bunch of disgruntled players playing around him because they don't want to have to put up with the bullshit. Okay? Man, stop, fooling with the idea of bringing somebody there who's already stuck in their ways, who's already quite disgruntled himself, and gonna bring in a whole bunch of problems while these boys right here, while these young men, I should say, are out there doing an excellent job and playing to the best of their abilities right now. You got to realize they're surging in the East right now, and they are actually a team to be reckoned with. Okay, we'll see what happens in the playoffs, but I have no doubt in my mind with the type of winner that Jalen Brunson is, and great basketball that Julius Randle is playing. You don't need to disrupt that chemistry with what's going on from LA and bringing all that U-Haul and that baggage and that truck full of bullshit over to New York. It's just not happening, man. So that's a terrible idea. You're capping and you shouldn't have said that shit on national television, okay? So y'all tell me what you think. It's straight to the point, sports and entertainment. I'll get at you later.